In 1981, we had a hailstorm. My husband said, we've got our land spread around, so if we get hail, we won't get it on everything. But we did. In 1981, we got hail on everything. And of course, we were in debt for some ag land. We kept, we keep buying something and trying to improve everything. And we almost lost the farm. That fall, when we harvested, my husband took the combine around to little spots in the field that had been underwater, so the hail didn't take it. That's what we got for beans. Mm-hmm. Corn, I think there was one field that didn't get the hail so bad. Otherwise, there was nothing in the fields. And we still like stay with it. Well, as Carl says, the good Lord sends you the weather, and if you can handle it. Now, there was a lot of people committed suicide at that time, agriculture people, and they went up to their lenders and they were going, oh, they were really mean and mad. But it is something to work together with someone. My dad and my uncle did partnership farming. It's good, and it's it inhibits you in some ways because of. But it's basically good because you got two minds trying to work for the same thing. And then my husband and his brother did partnership farming. Now I've got two sons that do it. I've seen it all the way through, and it's not always easy, especially when you get the in-laws in. I was born and raised on a farm, and I kind of liked it all the time. When I was a kid, first I even remember riding on the back of a horse when we used to do work with horses way back. And then we got some tractors, and I got to drive the tractor, and I grew up during the World War II when the gals helped doing everything on the farm. And then I went into nursing school, nurses training, because that's what I wanted to do. And when I got through with that, I worked in the hospital until I started going with my husband, who had ag experience too, had been grown up on a farm. We got married, so we did partnership farming with his brother, and just did a little bit of everything on the farm, and always enjoyed it. And to this day, when I go in the city and see all that traffic, I like the country.
Every day you're working with nature and having the faith to plant that seed, if it's a seed, and see it grow. If it's a new calf or a new little pig or whatever, to see that animal grow. Compromises. We, as Mom said, farming with family is good, and there are less than good areas. But if the sum of the whole is better, then do it that way. And so you've got to learn to because a farmer is independent. If he's all by himself, he can do anything. Well, if you're with somebody else, you got to decide. If you're married, you're going to do what both of you think you want to do. And then when it gets on more, when you get more and more people involved, it is that way. But so is business. If you're working with somebody else in a business, or if you're working for somebody, you do the way it is. And so, but those challenges are good challenges. Risk management is a challenge. Being able to make decisions, being able to make that decision when you need to make it, being flexible, handling the volatility of pricing, whether it's purchasing, whether it's selling, whatever it may be. Some people just aren't cut out to handle that much. Are you conservative or are you more aggressive? Can you handle watching inventory you have on hand one day change $100,000 or $200,000. And can you handle a point you're thinking, well, shoot, I should have made that decision. Well, now what can I do? Does that freeze me from making a decision? Well, no. But you still have to make a living. Okay, still have to make a living. Somehow you gotta pay the bills at the end of the day, and you gotta be viable and sustainable. I mean, what is sustainability? Sustainability is to, in my mind, we're only here for a short time to use the natural resources that God has given us. We want to return them for the next generation in better shape than we got them, than we received them. I was raised on the farm. My family's raised on the farm. There's the next generation. I'm hoping they can. I'm hoping I can provide my kids the opportunity to farm if they want to.
The most exciting thing about farming to me has probably been how technology is starting to take over. The technology from when I was 4 or 5 years old, driving in the tractors, that everything was done by hand, big levers to do everything. Nothing was computer driven. I mean, you'd have your RPMs, you'd have a heat gauge, that was it inside the tractor. To the tractors we have now that you can program it to push one button to pick up the implement, to drive the implement. You've got a whole screen that tells you what's going on in the tractor, what temperature it's running at, how much fuel you're burning. So you can manage a lot better than you used to. You used to fill up the tractor and you know how much total gas or total fuel you use, but now we know what every tractor uses per acre. So we know how much fuel it costs to farm an exact acreage instead of, well, this is what it costs throughout the entire farm. So we can manage better. We can find out if tractors are more efficient, because everything costs money these days. And the more efficient we can be, the more money we're going to make in the long run. Livestock, it used to be you'd feed them once a day, and then once they ate their feed, they waited for more feed. Now it's they have feed and water in front of them all the time. So they never go without. The other technology that we have, it allows us to keep them in a comfortable environment, whereas it used to be they'd be outside or in the barn. Now they're in a barn in a controlled environment that we can keep them as comfortable as possible at all times, which has really helped us to do what we do. The biggest challenge for me would probably be going from someone who just simply did the work, thinking I knew everything as a kid, teenager, to try kind of moving more into a slight management role and learning the challenges of trying to manage something actually. Trying to manage employees, trying to manage scheduling people. It's not as easy as I thought. I thought my parents or the bosses sat in the house and drank coffee, but you find out there's a lot more behind the scenes than it just being outside actually doing the work. That's probably the biggest change that I've noticed. And then the bookkeeping. I mean, you almost have to be an accountant to do this now. I mean, at the scale that we do things, the cost of everything nowadays, you have to have your ducks in the row. It used to be you plant a seed, combine in the fall, sell it, pull your receipts out of a shoebox, hope you did all right. And now it's all technology based, accounting, everything like that. You got to have your ducks in a row. It's more of a business management than it is actually being out there farming, which is good and bad. I mean, if you don't like the management part, you're probably not going to farm, you know. I got to the big city to go to school, and I thought it was the best thing for me. But then I just missed it. I mean, I missed being around. I missed being in the country. I missed getting dirty. I mean, I missed being able to go to work in the morning, and when you're done, you could look at exactly what you got done, and you could actually feel what you do during the day and see what you get done. And then I guess I just missed it. Once I lost the opportunity of doing it, once I couldn't do it anymore, I figured how much I actually loved it, and that's why I wanted to come back. And now I like to see, I mean, what we do, grain farming, hog farming, I like to see that we start with something small, it grows into something, and you actually produce something. And it's just satisfying to see that happen year after year, and I don't know, it's just satisfying. I can't see myself doing anything else.